Hi, welcome to the shoes. Oh, welcome to
Blew it.
welcome to If I Did It, a show where we analyze all PR kerfuffles from a world and beyond. The camera's focused on Eugene. That's why I was stunned.
You know what? This is like you're tapping. No, I'm not tapping. I wasn't tapping.
I didn't say, hey, you're going to take it. I was going to say I was stunned by your handsomeness.
Yeah, there you go.
Sheesh, man. Oh, fuck that. I was stunned by Nate's beret.
Yeah, he's working with the Guardian Angels now. So.
Our host, Alexi Hall, joining me is always Canadian Bloody Elbow on Eugene S. Robinson from Aussie.com and author of Fight Everything You Ever Want to Know About Ass Kicking, but we're afraid you get your ass kicked for asking. Mm-hmm. Collectively, the MMA Puncholes.
Hey, Don Rickles is dead. We could take that variation of Malagueña that he used to come in like the bullfighters, and we could use that for the Puncholes. Don Rickles is not using it anymore. Whatever that thing is when they come in.
I thought that was whatever. Anyway, so Eugene, you're
Alexi's off tonight.
He's off.
I'm totally off, man. I'm telling you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to dedicate the show to my friend Chris Sherman, who's a big fan of both Knuckle Up and If I Did It. And he wrote a piece for me today on Aussie called PEDs, Pills, Police, and the Pleasure of Dealing with David Carradine. And he died.
Oh, man.
He trained at John Jacques Machado in Austin. And so this show is for him. So,
all right. Eugene, you're the UFC. With Conor McGregor molded champions losing this weekend. Live in an public view. Do you need to change your promotional strategy from big mouths to silent but violent?
You don't need to change shit. I'm the bald one, and the UFC. You see, the jungle has a way of sorting this stuff out, right? I mean, it's not like you didn't. I mean, despite what you might think, and I have to say, if you saw that Deontay Wilder fight, did you see that guy there who looked like I used to look? It's like mother.
He was a former champion.
Don King. No, Don King was there.
Oh.
And he was at this is at the pre-fight presser, and Don King has lost a few steps. It's like, man, he's just shuffling around. At least he had the dignity to not be up there in his bathrobe like Hugh Hefner. But anyway, if you're the bald one, well, you don't have to do shit, man. The jungle is deciding on its own. I mean, anybody who lost this weekend didn't stand to make $135 million. They certainly don't stand to make $135 million now. And the people who won also don't stand to make $135 million. Reality has come back to home. People, this $135 million has got people looking all the wrong places. They got their hands out here. They got their hands out here. What they need to do is turn around and look the guy in the face who's got the arm around your shoulder. Yeah, we're with you 100%, buddy. Hey, Mr. Bald One. Ain't you got a $36 million house in Vegas? Hey, kid, you can't let that material stuff interfere with what you just get out there, you kill him. Come on, you don't have to do anything. The jungle has chosen, man. It's not. He wasn't choosing to promote these guys. We chose to promote those guys, and by those guys I mean specifically here McNuggets.
Man, what about you, Nate?
So what's the question? That they had too much trash talk and the trash talkers lost, so should they rethink their promo strategy?
Do they need to change their strategy? Because remember at the Fighters Summit said everyone needs to be like Conor McGregor. Be like Conor, be like Conor, be like Conor.
I mean, the only ones where I could see, I thought Joanna's antics were a little bit forced. But Garbrandt is just an asshole. I think Garbrandt was totally expressing himself in an honest way, and there's nothing that needs changing about the way anybody promoted. I mean, that was such a great fight card. It's a big win for the UFC, especially.
But it wasn't a planned greatness. It just happened to be great, right?
Well, they put the fights in place. They created the circumstances in which the greatness could happen. By which I mean Johnny Hendricks coming back. Never.
Don't you mean Vitor Belfort coming back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
The Misty,
I'm sure you saw Kenny Shamrock is like, Oh, he's being all coy. Maybe I'll come out of retirement. You fucking mook. Nobody wants to see you. Come on. I'm an old guy and I don't want to see you, you know?
Well,
It's true.
well, speaking about the results, Nate, you're the GOAT GSP. After winning the middleweight championship, your coach Freddie Roach wants you to drop down to welterweight. Conor McGee is calling, but UFC boss Dana White wants Whitaker as your next opponent. Now that you're the bull of the woods, or the bull of the woods, the bull of the woods, what do you do?
Tell Dana White to fuck himself, man. I mean, GSP can write his own ticket. Dana thinks GSP is a putz and a patsy and somebody he can walk over and bully around. And I think GSP has shown time and time again he has made a much stronger stuff than Dana White. And the fight to make is GSP versus Conor. I don't give a shit about the belts, the divisions, none of that. That's the fight that will sell. That's the fight I want to see. That's where the magic is. It was clear GSP was too bloated and slow at middleweight. He said he just wanted to do it for the challenge. He proved himself. Let Whitaker have the interim title and turn that, give up the belt, whatever. Fuck the belt. The belt doesn't mean shit if you're GSP. Now, if you're nobody, if you're Robert Whitaker, the belt means a fortune. But if you're GSP, it doesn't mean jack shit. So GSP needs to do what he needs to do, what's best for him. Tune out Dana White and make the right call for yourself. Lose some weight, get down to welterweight, let Conor move up to welterweight. Boom, magic can be made. I mean, Conor McGregor and GSP, now that's a fight. That's money. That's money.
I'm sorry. I think there's one guy out there going, hey, what about me? I got the belt. What about me?
Who?
Yeah. Who's got the welterweight belt now?
Yeah. Let's see. It's not Mighty Mouse. It's that kid from Ferguson that everybody thinks is a reversed racist. Yeah. Nobody cares about that guy. Like, it doesn't need to be a title fight. Who gives a shit? Like, Woodley is pointing.
Man, it's like, who are you gonna take to the prom? Oh, are you gonna take your boyfriend? No. Fucking tyrant, man. Anyway, sorry, I stomped on your ending.
Yeah, it's your turn. You segued right into your
well,
turn.
You know what? I think you see, and I don't even blink. I don't care. I think that you can't. I think I agree with Nate that they treat him badly, and they've gotten used to treating him badly. And one of the things about a $135 million man is that he's never really gone for that. Put the shirt on. Nah, I don't feel like it. You can exercise the right of refusal. So, I don't know that GSP is going to be jumping up saying, I need more. He's paid plenty well, but I don't think you're going to be able to get away with that stuff. Just, don't confuse his reticence for weakness in this instance. I mean, have him. The thing is, he's an X quality at this point. You don't know when that dark place is going to reassert itself, and he wants to leave again. You have no fucking idea. So what you need to tell Sean Shelby, also known as Keith, what you need to tell him is, like, somebody once, they called a reference of mine. They go, what kind of management style works best with Eugene? And the person who's very close to me thought, and they were like, a creative one. And that's pretty much what you need with GSP at this point in time. You need a creative sked of fights for him to fight, for him to stay interested. You can't invalidate the belt. You can't make fucking Whitaker look like a mook. You either have to chase him in actual theory and practice back down the weight scale. GSP has to think about it, come to the conclusion on his own, put heads together with Freddie Roach, decide, yeah, you're right, but I just wanted to test myself. I was too slow at that speed. Everybody could see I was sucking air. How about I go down? I'll relinquish the title to Whitaker. Whitaker looks like a stud. He can make whatever kind of trash talk. I chased him out of the division. Yeah, fine. And in the meantime, somebody has to deal with Woodley. You just can't You can't trammel over this shit. It's either going to make a difference or it doesn't make a difference. You're either going to give him cars or you're going to give him belts. If you're going to give him belts, you got to play by the rules. So Woodley's got to fight somebody. But I mean, you know, I think there are guys there in welterweight who are capable of beating Woodley and getting him out of the way. The question is, can you do that? I mean, this is like MMA Fantasy League. Can you do that in a way, shape, or form that doesn't ruin the market value of the ultimate GSP? I mean, there are money fights to be had. GSP and McNuggets, that's a good one. Any of the Diaz's with either of those guys,
Yep.
those are also good ones. You know, there's not much else out there. There are a few more tiles that you could like move around, or people who you'd like to see in that mix. You know, I'm still I'm a Robbie Lawler. You know, I'm in the bag for Robbie Lawler, even though I realize he's older at this point. You know, you have to. Keith has got to put on his thinking cap, also known as Sean Shelby, and really come up with all around the board some sort of creative matchmaking. Maybe it makes money, maybe it doesn't. That can't be your objective. Your objective is to keep what little A-level talent you have in the fucking house and not having them staring at the ceiling like going, why am I doing this? Why am I here?
I think you should have a Who Cares tournament with T Wood versus T Ferg versus Khabib versus Wonder Boy. Put all those guys in there that lost out.
You're mixing divisions.
I think you should.
Yep.
Right? If champions can challenge individuals in other divisions, why can't interim champions challenge interim champions from other divisions and have some kind of excitement?
Right, exactly.
Those guys.
Right. So, completely designify the importance of a belt, and it's just a thing that you bauble, you know.
Exactly. Just call it the night that the belts died, and just have an openweight tournament. Nobody cares about this shit anymore. These guys lost their big payday money matches. Nobody's clamoring for this shit. Just give them their own pay-per-view. Offer them some points or some chips or whatever you offer people that aren't needle movers, and have them be able to like put those belts out in a blaze of glory, man, because nobody cares.
I thought for a second you would say Night of the Long Knives, and then we would have got a Nazi reference there. But there was a recent Night of the Long Knives that I really
I'll get to that on the heel turn of the next show.
Okay, all right.
So, Eugene, you're the fighter formerly known as Joanna Champion, or some people say Joanna X Champion.
Joanna.
You're not champion anymore. I don't have to pronounce your name correctly. You're crushing defeat to Thug Rose, summon the ghost of Ronda Rousey future to yours. How do you exercise it, Joanna?
You can't. You need to. What you need to do is to, like I said, knuckle up. There are a couple of things that happen. The door opened a crack, and people saw inside your wheelhouse and go, I got it. A fight strategist better than the fight strategist you have. Typically, if you're a champion, your fight team says just keep on keeping on. Not good advice. You got to realize that they've had a lot of time to figure out what that keeping on means, and they've got your number. So, she has to decide, is it because they saw too much of what I have, or is it because what I have has got a limited application over the long term, which are pretty much the same thing, or have I let the crown hang heavy on the head, and the commercials and the signings and the interviews and going back home? I mean, Poland is I don't want to say provincial is not the word I'm using, but everybody in Poland knows everything. If you don't think that people in Poland know that my wife is Polish, you are wrong. Anybody who cares about MMA or who focuses on music knows the guy from Oxbow's wife is Polish. Everybody. It's like a union. So, she goes back home. I imagine it's really nice, a nice bit of celebrity, and people in the supermarket giving you this and saying hi. You go through town, it's like the parade, but you got to redouble because nobody is giving nothing. And at this point, people are fickle. They don't have an appetite for that stuff. It was really over the top, putting your fist in the face and that only works if you deliver. Only if you deliver, And you heard, I mean, these are all intangibles, but there are bona fide intangibles. Like when Dillashaw said after that first round, what got him to dig down deep was hearing all the crap coming out of Garbrandt's corner.
Yep.
He was like, he was like, he probably would have laid down and died. Like, man, I can't make it. But for suddenly they gave him an emotional focus. What's it going to take for Joanna to get an emotional focus? I don't know. The idea of going home and going back to work. How about that? I don't know.
Man.
And I agree with all these new champions not giving people immediate rematches. You know what I call that? I call that hello. For those listening on the radio, it was just my middle finger. You'll get a rematch when I tell you get a rematch.
Yeah. What about you, Nate?
Well, like I said before, I think the shit talk she was doing was forced. It wasn't true to her character. It really pissed Rose off. Boy, was I wrong about that fight. Rose is way better than I gave her credit for going in. Yeah, Joanna needs to just check herself, get her shit together. She's obviously going to have to fight at least once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times before she gets a title shot again. So she's got time. Just take some time away and check yourself before you wreck yourself, girl. I mean, it rang hollow. It was like when GSP went over the top with that whole "I was not impressed with your performance" thing. I mean, it just
nice. You've been practicing, you prick. Come on, that was
the
good.
power of the beret, man.
That was
it's
nice.
the hard work,
Osmosis.
Yeah,
Franzmosis.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, and the thing is, I'm always saying this. There's 2 parts to MMA PR. One part is your image and the hype, but the key part is what you do in the cage. And that was the bedrock of Joanna Champion's whole thing, was that she seemed maybe not invincible, but she seemed like she was at a higher level than the rest of the division. That myth has been dispelled, and it didn't even seem like it was a matter of Joanna had lost a step or that she'd been figured out or exposed. It was just Rose had a game plan for her, and Rose is very, very good. And Joanna needs to go back to the drawing board with her coaches and figure out, and make the adjustments and come back stronger and better, and leave the shit talking to McNuggets. I mean, it's not your forte.
Man. Speaking of fortes, Nate, your UFC flyweight champion Demetrious Johnson. With GSP snatching the GOAT crown from you, does your legacy demand a fight with UFC bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw at his weight class?
Yes. I mean, if you're Mighty Mouse, if you're Mighty, take the fight, take the money. It's the biggest fight you're ever going to get, and this is a guy you beat before in dramatic fashion. I don't think he's going to clown him again. No, wait, it was John Dodson that clowned TJ Dillashaw.
Man, he can't tell these people.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got no choice. He needs to take the fight. It's the biggest fight he's ever going to get an opportunity to have, and it's one I think he has a chance to win. So take it.
He's the toughest guy in the Shire.
He is the toughest guy in the Shire. He's a regular.
Sorry. I'm just a little sore from getting beaten by a larger man in the U.S. Open. That's all.
A bigger man in many senses of the word, I'm told.
Yeah, except for the ones that matter.
Better grappler, bigger character. That's all.
Actually, he wasn't better, but he was mighty. I mean, once he was mounted and he's like trying to do all this stuff, and I was like batting it away, but I couldn't get him off of me, and he's got the mount, so fuck it.
And how did he mount you?
I had a half guard, and he threw that heavy arm. You up in the bounce, you throw that heavy arm, and usually it's supposed to be a push. That arm came and hit my neck, and I could feel my toes tingle. And then
protect your neck.
And then you fell in love, and
no, I kind of look at the ref like, "Yo, bro, that was a fucking strike." And the ref was like,
and while you're looking at the ref, he's rolling you over.
Well, I kind of actually, I get hit and I look at the ref and then I was rolled over. Right.
Oh man. So
and I told Sorrell, all I need you to do is just run it and say one word in Portuguese, and they'll think, he's down with the home team. Nothing. Americans, fuck you. They don't care.
So what about your career, Demetrious?
Yeah, he's got to do it. I mean, this is I'm in lockstep with. I mean, You know, they have essentially removed any obstacle or excuse for him to do anything else. So why not? Why not? At this point, he's got the record. You know, why not go for the money? I mean, unless you, I mean, some of these guys I've trained with, like some of the pros, are those types of cats who are really good because they're deathly afraid of losing. Like me, I don't give a shit. I lose. I still believe I'm such an egomaniac that I believe I'm better anyway, even if I'm losing. Even as a guy is like beating the slop out of me, I'm like, ah, man, if you could only be half the man I am, sir. And they're raising the other guy's hand. I'm like, you too, huh? I mean,
He needed it more than me. He needed the ego boost.
yeah,
He needed the boost. I'm glad he can feel good about himself.
Yeah, you know, it's something I do for the little people, you know. So no, I mean, unless he's got one of those like really pathological aversions to losing, get in there, whatever. What you don't, what do you, I mean, what are you gonna lose? Well, that's easy for me to say with my ass on the couch. Yeah, you know, like Nick Diaz said, you like to fight, you think it's cool, you get in there and do it. It's not cool having somebody trying to punch you in the face. So maybe it's that. I don't know, but he's got to, if he wants to generate some excitement, this is a good, solid way to go.
Yeah, so that's what I thought was so funny earlier in the night. It's like, oh, the greatest of all time, Demetrious Johnson. And then, like, hours later, the greatest of all time, George St. Pierre. I was like, damn.
Oh, I guess we've been doing the show. Looks like George St. Pierre just gave up the belt.
Oh.
What?
Wow, well. Smart move on his
Oh,
part.
no,
He's listening.
Wait. He just gave it to his coach. That's a little bit different. That's a misleading. That's some fucking clickbait bullshit. Jake Shields just sent it. Shields just sent it to me.
Perfect timing for a Kid Nate's heel turn.
Well, this week the heel is the UFC itself. Like, I was so blasé and so over it just a week ago, and then Saturday night I find myself on the edge of my seat. I find myself jumping up and down screaming. And then when GSP choked that motherfucker out, I was nearly in tears. So I can't quit you, sport. I can't. It's a horrible addiction. I mean, the brain damage and the ruined lives and the inequities and the financial disparities and the sleaziness of the Fertittas and the WME and Dana White. I don't care. I'll keep giving them my money. I mean, nothing else can deliver this kind of fucking excitement and passion and meaning to me, like jumping up and down and screaming, kill that motherfucker as GSP chokes Bisping out. I mean, that was just, you know, it was vicarious thrills. It was awesome. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. So
that sucks. It's going to take so long for that to come back again after a couple of months of shitty cards.
You never know. You never know. You never know. Now I don't want to. This weekend there's the Poirier Pettis fight card, and there's a lot of familiar names. I'm supposed to be having a weekend away with the wife, but I might have to, like, you know, sneak in and turn on the TV. But we'll see.
Oh, man.
Well, you know, look, I'm going to have to also say I had 3 fights in a row in which I screamed so loud at the conclusion that I almost slid off the bar stool and lost a grip of the stolen drink I had.
You're like, oh shit!
The only thing that kept me right is, of course, I could not afford a drink. Huh?
I saw you posting on social media, and I was thinking, there's a pervert sitting there thinking, damn, I only put enough for a 110-pound woman in there, and there's this guy got dropped.
Yeah, hey, well, you know, I was there with the wife, so she could drive. She could have driven me home, you know, if I couldn't have made it. But no, that's and I have to say, for the second time, I don't think it's in a row. For the second time, the Lost Battalion mirrors the heel turn. Because I'm going to say, even after this weekend, but maybe it's not the UFC that's in the Lost Battalion, because the UFC was already in the Lost Battalion. It's only us degenerates now. But maybe it's the bald one. So maybe we're not in lockstep. Who, you know, should have just let us like kind of ease out of the high from Saturday. Instead, he drunk on the same sort of high as like 2017 is our best year ever. It's like, you know, it's like you're sitting there, you know, and then somebody says something like, really, like, you're like, man, you just roached my buzz. The best year ever. What What are you talking about? How short do you think our memories are? As short as mine. Okay, I got it. So I would put the bald. Well, the bald one's been in the Lost Battalion for a while anyway, running hither and yon. I mean, there are a lot of additions this weekend, actually. I mean, we put him in before. It doesn't hurt to say it again. Johnny's deep, and it's now sad. It's not happy. It's a sad Lost Battalion. I mean, that was a
first the weigh-in shit talking the media. That was really...
oh man. You know what?
I
think it behooves all of us to think about. They say there are no second acts in American lives. It behooves you to come up with a second act, because that first one is going to be yanked from you sure than shit. I started life with a desire to be a marine biologist. Didn't do that. I'm still on the fumes of the second act right now as a journalist, right? Got to come up with a second act. You need one. So Johnny is there, and I have to say, Bisping played his way out of it nicely. It was like an act of like kind of UK jiu-jitsu when he's like sitting there at the post-fight presser and he goes, "It seems like just yesterday that I was a champion." And it was like victory from the jaws of defeat. Total 100% Charlie Manson-like awareness about where he is in space, avoiding the Lost Battalion that it would be a Bisping. The jury is out on Joanna, even though the no tap thing was misty as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I suggest you look at all the fucking clips in existence on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube before you start spouting off that what we saw is not what we saw. You're gonna believe me or your lying eyes? Well, probably my lying eyes. Okay. And I have to say, if it was a stock offering for the Lost Battalion, I'm not going to say he has anything to do with the Lost Battalion at all. But if we're just talking the stock trading, I'm going to issue a neutral hold on Wonder Boy. I was not too impressed with his performance.
Yeah.
You stole my line, and you didn't do it half as well.
You know what? You just got a -1 for pointing that out. Yeah, you should have warned the crowd and be happy and the superior.
No. It's all about gloating. What are you telling me? It's all about the gloating.
Yeah, but there are ways to gloat. Let me tell you, if I was you, what I would have said, "Oh, that's pretty good, man. You should keep trying." That's it.
Well, someday when I'm as old and wise as you are.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter, Eugene S. Robinson, Alexi All at Kid Nate, on Facebook's at MMA Pancholes. Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
All right.
Leave comments on YouTube. Subscribe to MMA Nation on YouTube, MMA Nation on iTunes. Visit Bloody Elbow, buy Oxbro's Thin Black Duke wherever fine music is sold. And immediately follow the show. Down in the comments, click on the link for If the Shoes Fit.
By which he means immediately. He means right now. Right this second. In the next 30 seconds, we're going to log out and log back in. That's what he means.
That's right. We'll be back next week with another installment of If I Did It. And we don't know what we're going to be talking about yet because the PR mistakes have yet to be made.